Your second stimulus check questions are answered. And boy, I know the answers, but does Congress know them? Hey everybody, this is LALATE with a second stimulus check and stimulus package update for today. This one's about the check and answering your questions, especially if you're on SSDI, SSI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, and Veterans benefits. Big shocking news minutes ago, and this is after our recording of 5 other videos today. Guess who's on the Hill? Mitch McConnell and Mr. Meadows, the acting chief of staff of the White House, are on Capitol Hill to iron out a second stimulus check and also FPUC deal because someone else is not very cooperative. I wonder who that is. Let me pull up some Kentucky Fried Chicken and give you a hint. Minutes ago, Mitch McConnell actually was under fire in another article because he apparently is being dragged by press for allowing unemployment benefits to expire with no agreement and no stimulus check being landed in people's hands. Here are the details. First of all, as you know, a second stimulus check is coming to you. All the 3 parties have said that for weeks, but no one has actually delivered the check to you. And Mitch McConnell is taking the heat. Ultimately, he is being blamed because he wouldn't give you a check under any normal terms. Mitch McConnell initially said he wasn't going to give you a check. Then he said, okay, I'll give you a check. Then he says, well, I won't give a lot of people a check. I'll give less people a check. I'm going to put a $40,000 cap on it. Now he says, okay, I'll just give a check to everyone that was under the first stimulus package, how we did it back in March. Democrats say, no, that's not enough. You do it exactly the way we're proposing, which is to give it to all dependents. You're trying to screw dependents over again and not give it to adult dependents 17 years of age. Ultimately, apparently, without saying this, the White House is not happy because it's making Republicans look very bad, that ultimately Mitch McConnell is basically agreeing to the same thing the Democrats have been proposing for weeks, but has delayed the process and delivery of your stimulus check for months when he could have gotten it to you a long time ago. So what's going on? Before I get to what's happening on Capitol Hill, literally in the last 10 minutes, I did not think I would be, covering news breaking like this on a Saturday afternoon. Before I get to that, let me go over where we are on the check firmly and where we are not firmly. Firmly, there will be a second stimulus check. Firmly, the second stimulus check will be delivered in August. It's not being delivered in July. And it's likely going to land with everyone in August, not in September. That's also really good news. Third, the check's delivery will likely come in the same manner in which you received the first check. There's more confirmation about that just minutes ago, actually from the White House, with actual words saying that's going to likely land the way you got the first check. So if you're on SSDI, SSI, Social Security, or Railroad benefits, or Veterans benefits, and you receive your benefits by direct deposit, it would come that way. You receive them by debit card, it would come that way. You receive it by paper check, it would come that way. If you did not receive your first stimulus check because you're an adult dependent, that means someone who's 17 years or older on someone else's tax return, will you get a second stimulus check? Here we go. This is the part that's sort of fluid. And how much would you get, and how much is that child who's 17 years of age or younger going to get? That's the part that's not very clear right now. I want you to understand where we are. The Democrats have said, we are not negotiating on this. We are absolutely not negotiating on this. Every dependent gets a full check, not $500. The first stimulus check package said dependents 17 years or younger would only get $500. It's a ridiculous rule. Democrats say it's ridiculous. We're not doing it again. They're getting a full check. They're not getting down. They're not getting a 40% check. Second, and this is the big one. This is the one that the viewers of this channel are asking on a daily basis or hourly basis. How about adult dependents? I didn't get a check. I'm 17 years or older. I'm a dependent on my son or daughter's tax return. I didn't get a check. Will I get a check the second time around? Yes, under all the proposals until Mitch McConnell opens his mouth. Yes, you were to get a check. But Mitch came along a week ago and says, no, no. And then there was these bad news reports, as I discussed in an earlier video today, that took some people's words out of context and said that they meant that they don't want to pay adult dependents. That's just not the case. So will adult dependents get a second stimulus check? We don't have a firm yes from the Republicans yet. We have bad news reporting that makes it sound like they're not sure. Will adult dependents get a full check? We don't have a firm yes from the Republicans as to the amount, but it seems as though it's heading that way. But the Democrats are very clear. We're not moving on this. So what is the likely landing spot at all this? It's not a spot that you and I are happy about. And I'm going to say it right now. I'm not going to say that I embrace this. And I think both parties have done a horrible job at this. You were on lockdown in March and April, May. You were promised a check for every month that you were on lockdown. You got screwed. You got one check. You got screwed because both parties said, okay, you know what, we'll give them one check and we'll get them the other checks later when we get to it. Well, they never got to it. So you didn't get those two checks. Guess what? You're back on the lockdown or partial lockdown. You're struggling now, and California's on 80% lockdown, so that's basically lockdown now. And this is the month of July. It's continuing in August, and it's going to continue in September. So what are they saying? Oh, we'll give them one check. What the hell's one check? What the hell's one check and one $1,200 check? Who the hell you think you are, you measly people, you stingy people? These citizens are owed multiple checks, and multiple checks are owed, and that's actual stimulus. One $1,200 check does nothing for no one. For a person who's been waiting for that April check and are now in August, okay, thank you, you're sending me my April check in August. So that's where we are on the manner of the checks. What's happening now in literally the last 10 minutes on a Saturday afternoon at about 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, Steve Mnuchin and, whose name I always forget, Mark Meadows, who's acting White House Chief of Staff, are on the Hill, Capitol Hill. Guess who they're without? Yeah, the guy from Kentucky. They don't want to have anything to do with them. And they were actually asked about it, like a bad scene from Real Housewives. I heard you don't get along with Mitch McConnell was basically the question they gave Steve Mnuchin. He says, well, there are disagreements, but I think they've been embellished in the press. Well, basically, he's confirming the news. That no one is getting along with Mitch, that Mitch is screwing everyone over, that Mitch is dragging his feet, and broadcast news are finally reporting what I've been reporting, which is basically now McConnell is being dragged through press this afternoon saying that he has really screwed over the American people by taking a vacation, knocking a stimulus check out, allowing eviction moratoriums to lapse, having people evicted, not taking care of unemployment benefits. And I got to tell you, if there's one topic that very, very bad news reporters still understand, it's unemployment benefits. They seem to digest it and comprehend it very well. So the headline news minutes ago is that Mitch McConnell has allowed unemployment benefits to expire after months of saying he wasn't going to give it. Now he says he's going to give it. So what's going on with that? So Steve Mnuchin was asked about this inroads fighting over getting a measly $1,200 check out to people, and he says there's a lot more written about the disagreements than there actually were disagreements. So I think it's important to note that I made great headlines, but it wasn't really based on real facts in terms of any real discussions that were going on. Yeah, I don't buy it. Sorry, Stevie, I don't buy it. You don't buy it either. Steve Mnuchin and Mitch McConnell freely admitted a week ago last Friday, that they have been working on the second stimulus package for weeks in private and couldn't agree to it. Then on Thursday, the White House said, you know what? We don't have an agreement because of Mitch McConnell. We can't get this done. So guess who's on the Capitol Hill? Everyone but Mitch McConnell is involved because no one can deal with this man. We want to make sure that so this is Mnuchin also continuing. We want to make sure that we can extend UI, which is the FPUC, the $600 per week from the federal government, that had the technical fix and not pay people more than the stay at home. That's obviously a ridiculous concept. Where we were always on the same page, this is a technical fix. We believe now the states will be able to transition to this new system. No, Yeah, Steve, you might have been on the same page, but you were not on the same page. Mitch McConnell just a few days ago said he does not want to give a single penny for FPUC, that unemployment $600 benefit that comes on top of PUA and UI. He said he didn't want to give it. He was slamming people who were going to get it, saying they're creating a welfare state. He said they were staying home getting rich. He was insulting people who don't have a job, that were laid off or COVID-19 positive, who were staying at home. He was actually digging, slamming them, insulting them. How dare him? I mean, really? And then today, or yesterday, Mitch is like, we have to extend UI benefits immediately. It's urgent. Well, this Mitch is different than the Mitch from last week. Which Mitch are you giving me today, Mitch? So ultimately, Steve Mnuchin says that we have a problem. We have a lot of problems. The president and his administration admits that they are pushing for boosted unemployment pay benefits that would be based upon 40% of a person's salary. I've seen your comments to the video earlier today. Everyone agreed with me. It is insane that Steve Mnuchin is sitting back and saying, you know what, we will pay you at 70% of your salary. I don't know where you're supposed to come up with the remaining 30%, but just live with it. I'm sorry. Was America built on 30%, on 70% of its country? Was America built on 70% of its workforce? Are you paid 70% of your salary, Mr. Mnuchin? Do you wear 70% of your $5,000 shoes to work every day? Or do you just wear, 30% of your $5,000 shoes every day? I mean, what is this 70% number? Where did it come from? What is it based upon? It's not based upon any real financial data. I've gone over the report. The report is hogwash. It's one report, and it contradicts what Mnuchin's actually saying, because the report said that 2/3 of people on unemployment benefits are making more than they were made when they were employed. Okay, let's accept that sentence is true. Mnuchin's not wanting to reduce it from more to 100%. He's wanting to reduce it from more to 70%. Well, that's ridiculous. Moreover, what's also ridiculous is he can't give you a darn number. Press it, okay, 70% times $600 is XYZ. He said, well, I'm not going to give you a number. Well, you just gave me 70%. What the hell is a 70% number? And, I don't even want to go there because it's a little too complicated for this video, but for people who qualify for escalated benefits for unemployment, who are based upon 2019 earnings, you are qualified for more money. Is Stevie doing this based upon on your actual 2019 earnings, which may be a lot more than your base level benefits, or is he doing it on the cheap watered down number? Lord, we're going through numbers of sections to make sure the details match our understanding of what should be in there, verifying a few of the manufacturing incentives to make sure we can support American jobs, says Meadows. Again, who cares about supporting American jobs only? There's more than just supporting American jobs. It's paying people that don't have jobs. It's paying people that are on disabilities who need a stimulus check, people who are veterans who have already served this country who need a stimulus check. It's paying people that are owed a stimulus check. So why do you keep on talking about the Rust Belt states or whatever, I always forget these expressions. Are we just teeing this up for election time? Is that what we're doing here? When asked about Nancy Pelosi's comments that she wouldn't take a piecemeal approach, Meadows said, if she's not willing to piece it together, I think there will be a number of people that potentially could be hurt because of that decision that's not based upon anything other than personal negotiating tactics. Actually, that is where I would agree with Mr. Meadows. He's 100% correct. I mean, he's saying, hey, we're not. Nancy wants to have a package. The package has your stimulus check. It has hazard pay, rent assistance, all those great things. And Meadows says, we want to streamline things and do individual things in different individual manners. Certain things have urgency to them. There's a correct and there's a wrong to that. The correct is, yes, unemployment benefits can get extended right today. I mean, could get extended right today if everyone just agreed to it. It's just a number. I mean, we already have the law. Just agree to the number and just get it done. It takes 10 seconds. Stimulus check can be done right away. If everyone is at the $1,200 stupid single check, which no one damn likes, but as everyone's at it and wants to do it the same way as the CARES Act, but it includes all dependents. We're not doing that stupid watered down crap. Did I say crap? Yeah, I say crap. Then you could just send that out. Just get that done. That takes 10 seconds. But so Meadows is correct that certain things can be done on an urgent basis. But Nancy, the House Speaker, is correct in saying, wait a second, you want a piecemeal, so ultimately you leave the important parts to the wayside and don't get to them. And so she has a very good point there, which is hazard pay, rent assistance, mortgage forbearance, loan forgiveness, all these other things that are so critical that have to be done. Ultimately, if you piecemeal, that's a nice way by the Republicans to avoid giving people hazard pay. I've seen your comments to even today's hazard pay video, and you're saying, hey, if they don't even want to give a $2,000 measly check or 6 $2,000 checks, how are the Republicans going to agree to a $10,000 hazard pay bill? That's what Meadows is talking about, that Nancy is basically saying, hey, we're asking for a lot more money, and you're trying to do the easy stuff, but you don't want to do the hard stuff, which is hazard pay and rent assistance and rent forbearance. And if you do that, ultimately no one's going to get anything. The White House and McConnell did say that they have agreed to the Pelosi's request for $100 billion for schools. Congratulations, they agreed upon one thing. We got like 900 other things to agree to upon. So where are we on this check? Well, 1, you're getting a check. 2, the check is going to land in August. 3, the check is likely going to come in the manner in which you receive will come in the manner in which you receive your first check. And if you didn't get the first check because you're a dependent, an adult dependent, you're likely, but we don't have confirmation, you will get it the second time and at the full amount, but we don't have confirmation about it yet. Next, the Democrats say up to 3 dependents per tax return. So if you have 4 kids, that 4th kid's not going to get a check under any version of this bill currently. Most importantly, everyone is furious and demanding multiple checks. Multiple checks seems to likely not be streamlined anywhere. There are all those other questions. Will child support be taken from the second stimulus check? Current proposals say absolutely not. Past due federal taxes, past due state taxes would not be taken out of the second stimulus check. The non-filer filing issue still seems ripe before us. So if you are a new person on benefits this year, never filed for 2019 taxes, and never have done a non-filer, get ready, because you're probably going to have to do it. You're probably going to have to do it, especially if you are on benefits and you have a child on benefits. Those are really the fluid situations. I did not think on a Saturday afternoon, after doing one check video at 10 o'clock in the morning and 1 and 2 o'clock, that I would literally have a different statement coming from Steve Mnuchin 3 times in one day. I mean, I'm on top of this. I hope you are, or you're at least with me as I'm on top of it, because it's more, as I said, Mitch McConnell is doing less work than that cardboard cutout of Mary Hart behind Dodger Stadium for today's baseball game. I mean, he's literally doing nothing. If you have questions in today's video, drop them in the comments below. Stay positive, stay motivated, stay focused. Stay informed, because boy, it's a lot to stay informed about. And stay in LA for more.